Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take your sources, unpack them, and bring you the most compelling bits.
And today we're looking at something, well, quite serious. It's a crime investigation report, case Haftad 2025 ZU6 07042.
Yeah, it's pretty troubling stuff. Comes from a coastal town in Andhra Pradesh, right? From the local police department's fraud and theft division.
That's right. Investigator Sanjay Venaparthy leads it, and it outlines this really complex case of deception.
Involving a young woman and an older man, her accomplice. So our mission today is to untangle this web they apparently wove.
We'll look at their methods, how the investigation is going, and dig into some of the psychological aspects hinted at in the report.
Okay, let's get into this story of Janaki and this figure called Suspect A. Where did this particular investigation kick off? What sparked it?
It started with a specific complaint filed back on May 28, 2025.
Okay, and who filed it?
It came from Mr. Harimam. He's a 78-year-old resident at a place called Seaside Care Home.
A care home resident. Okay, what happened to him?
Well, according to the report, this young woman, Janaki, approached him. She claimed to be his estranged granddaughter.
Oh, wow. Right, for the emotional connection.
Exactly. The report says she was very emotional, very convincing. She engaged him in this conversation.
And manipulated him.
Yeah, essentially. He seems to have genuinely believed her story, felt this connection, and he gave her a gold ring, a valuable one.
How valuable are we talking?
The estimate in the report is around 20 lakhs.
20 lakhs. That's significant. That's about 2 million rupees.
It is a huge loss. And the care home, they did cameras.
They did. Security footage was key here. It showed the young woman matching Janaki's description, interacting with Mr. Hariram, kneeling beside him, apparently.
Really laying it on sick. Yeah. And then it shows her leaving the facility with the ring. The timestamp was 3:17 p.m.
So that footage plus the complaint really solidified things, gave them a starting point.
Absolutely. It moved from just a report to an active investigation with visual evidence.
Okay, so let's talk about the people involved. The report identifies two main suspects, right? Starting with Janaki.
Right. And Janaki is an alias, the report stresses that. Her real identity isn't known.
Okay. What do we know about her?
Estimated age is young, 16 to 20. Physically, about 5'4", slim build, dark hair. But the main thing witnesses mention is her charisma.
Charisma U-store. Well, not good.
No. The report calls it a real talent for emotional manipulation, almost a skill.
A disturbing skill. What kind of approaches does she use?
Various personas. Sometimes she's like a vulnerable kid needing help. Other times, maybe a grieving relative trying to reconnect.
Always something to pull at the heartstrings.
Precisely. Tailored to the victim. And the report notes she does this with remarkable precision and confidence.
Confidence is scary in this context, especially at that age. And the other person, Suspect A.
He's older, estimated 40 to 55. Believed to be her father, or maybe a guardian figure.
And his role. Is he the mastermind?
The report suggests he was, especially earlier on, kind of the orchestrator behind the scenes, but recently.
Janaki's taken the lead.
It seems that way. The dynamic seems to have shifted, with Janaki becoming much more prominent in the actual execution of the cons.
Interesting. Like, maybe he taught her and now she's running with it.
That's one theory the report hints at, that it started perhaps from necessity, him teaching her, but it's evolved.
Okay, let's break down that evolution. Their method, their modus operandi. How do they pick who to target?
The report is pretty clear. They go for elderly or emotionally vulnerable people, often folks who are isolated, maybe neglected.
That feels particularly cruel. Exploiting loneliness.
It does. And Janaki seems to be the one who identifies the specific weakness, like that deep need for connection, and zeroes in on it.
And then they build a story around that.
Exactly. They craft these narratives tailored specifically to exploit whatever vulnerability they've spotted. It could be needing money for an emergency, or like with Mr. Hurram, pretending to be family.
And Janaki delivers the story.
Yes. The report really emphasizes how convincing she is, calls her performances emotionally authentic. Victims genuinely believe her.
Wow. And Suspect A? What's his part in the execution?
Historically, logistical support, transportation, maybe some planning, scouting locations perhaps. But as we said, the report notes Janaki seems to be operating more independently lately.
That shift keeps coming up. It feels important. What are they actually gaining from all this? Just cash.
Primarily valuables they can easily convert. Cash, jewelry mainly. That 20 lakh ring is a prime example.
It's not just isolated incidents like that one, right? You mentioned a larger scale.
Oh yeah. The report estimates total losses across multiple states and towns could be anywhere from 3 crores to 4 crores.
3 to 4 crores, so 30 to 40 million rupees. That's huge.
It's staggering. And these aren't just guesses, they're linking specific incidents.
How many places have they hit, according to the report?
It mentions confirmed links to similar scams in at least 6 towns across 3 different states. And these reports go back to early 2024.
So over a year of this, at least.
Minimum. There's even a specific mention of a boardwalk vendor who lost 3 lakhs to one of Janaki's stories.
So Mr. Hariram's case was just the one that provided the break investigators needed.
It seems so. The pattern was emerging, reports were likely being shared, but his case gave them that concrete, verifiable evidence. The footage.
Right, that security footage. What exactly did it show besides her leaving?
It showed the interaction itself, her being close to him, the physical presence. It corroborated his account perfectly and tied her directly to this specific theft.
And statements from other victims helped build the bigger picture.
Hugely important. Multiple victims across those different towns gave descriptions both of Janaki's appearance and her tactics that matched up. It really strengthened the argument that this was one coordinated operation.
Did they ever get the gold ring back?
No, the report says it's still missing, unrecovered.
But they saw her with it later.
Yes, she was apparently seen handling it in a vehicle. And crucially, they got a partial license plate from that sighting.
Ah, a lead. What was it?
XX374. Just a partial, but definitely something to work with.
And what about suspect A's role in these earlier incidents? Was he always there?
Witnesses from those earlier scams often remembered seeing an older man with her. But he usually stayed back.
Kept his distance.
Right. Maybe waited in the car or just observed from afar. Didn't usually engage directly with the victim. And the report notes his visible presence seems to have decreased over time.
Reinforcing that idea of Janaki stepping up, taking the lead.
Exactly. It all points towards this evolving dynamic.
Okay, so that partial plate, XX374, that must be a major focus now. Did it pop up again?
It did. Big break. The
Right.
report says it was spotted on June 1st, just recently, at a motel right there in Coastal Town.
The same town as the care home. They stuck around.
For a bit, yes. They checked into this motel.
Using their real names. Probably not.
Definitely not. Motel records show they used aliases. John and Sarisha.
Okay. Did the motel staff provide any more details? Especially about John or suspect A.
They did. Staff gave a better physical description of him. Around 5'10", weathered look, often seen smoking. Confirmed he was the one who checked them in.
And how did they pay?
Cash. Which, avoids a financial trail. Standard practice for people trying to stay off the grid.
Makes sense. And the vehicle itself, X374, did they run the plate?
They did. And it came back registered to someone who is deceased.
Oh, so stolen plate, stolen car, or fraudulent registration. More red flags.
Definitely complicates tracking it, but also confirms they're operating outside the law in multiple ways.
So they're at the motel. What happens next, according to the report? Did they just vanish again?
This is where it gets psychologically interesting. Suspect A reportedly leaves the motel on June 4th.
Leaves Janaki behind.
Apparently.
Uh-huh.
Left her with cash and the car keys, according to the report. Just gone.
Huh. What did Janaki do then?
Witnesses at the motel said she spent a lot of time alone after he left. The investigator interprets this as possibly indicating a rift, some kind of split between them.
And there was something about her emotional state.
Yeah, the report mentioned someone saw her just staring at her own reflection in a bathroom mirror. The investigator thought this might suggest distress, maybe some internal conflict.
Strange. And didn't the report mention something else about her hands?
Yes, a curious detail. On June 6th, a couple of days after suspect A left, she was seen with scabbed knuckles. No reported incident tied to it, just injured hands.
Weird. Okay, so suspect A leaves on the 4th. Any leads on where he went?
There is one potential lead. Local dock workers in Coastal Town. They reported seeing a guy matching his description looking for honest work around the docks.
Trying to blend in. Or maybe genuinely looking for work.
Hard to say. But he apparently left abruptly on June 6th.
The same day Janaki was seen with the injured hand. The timing is noted, I assume.
Oh, definitely. Investigators are looking closely at that connection.
This report goes deeper than just the what happened. It tries to get into the why. What does it suggest about their motivation?
It paints a really complex picture. Initially, the theory is, like we said, financial need. Suspect eaching Janaki out of necessity.
But that might have changed.
The investigator thinks so. Over time, as Janaki got better, more independent, maybe her reasons shifted. The report floats the idea of a psychological element.
Like what?
Maybe a need for control. Or maybe validation. The report specifically mentions evidence suggesting she might be seeking suspect A's approval through these cons.
Seeking approval by hurting people, that's twisted.
It is, and it leads to questions about why suspect A left her at the motel.
Right. Why did he leave on June 4th? Does the report speculate?
It offers a few possibilities. Maybe guilt finally caught up with him, fear of getting caught as the investigation seemed to be closing in.
Or maybe something about Janaki herself.
That's the other angle. Maybe he was trying to distance himself because her behavior was escalating, maybe crossing lines he wasn't comfortable with.
And wasn't there a quote related to that? Something overheard?
Yes, a really chilling line mentioned in the investigator's notes. A motel clerk supposedly overheard someone, possibly suspect A, say, "She isn't me, she's worse."
She isn't me, she's worse. Wow, that suggests a lot. Like maybe he felt she'd gone too far.
That's the investigator's interpretation. That suspect A might have realized Janaki's actions, or maybe her mindset had become something darker than he intended, prompting him to leave.
A potential fracture point. So where does that leave the investigation now? What are the big challenges they're facing?
Well, the lack of solid ID is still a huge problem. Aliases, no fingerprints or DNA from that first key incident.
Makes it hard to put out alerts or track past records.
Exactly. And their whole lifestyle is transient. They move between towns, probably smaller ones, harder to monitor. Makes tracking them incredibly difficult.
And I imagine getting victims to talk is tough too.
The report confirms that. Victim reluctance is a major hurdle, especially the elderly. They might feel embarrassed, ashamed.
Or even still feel some emotional connection to Janaki, despite the con.
Heartbreakingly, yes. That emotional manipulation runs deep, makes them hesitant to come forward or press charges.
Man, that complicates everything. So, what are the investigators' next steps, according to the report?
Okay, several things. First, issue a BLO, a be on the lookout alert specifically for Janaki. Get her description outlined.
To police forces, transit hubs, that kind of thing.
Right. Then, try to track suspect A using that dock worker. Check local businesses, employment records near the docks for anyone matching his description who showed up and left quickly.
And the car, XX374.
Expand the search for it. Cross-reference the stolen vehicle databases regionally, nationally. That deceased owner registration is
Makes sense. And keep looking for more victims.
definitely. Outreach to home care homes, community centers, places where vulnerable people might gather. More victims could mean more witnesses, maybe another lead.
And they're bringing in a specialist on the psychological side.
Yes, consulting a behavioral analyst. The goal is to build a psychological profile of Janaki.
Wow. Predicting moves.
Sort of. Given how invested she seems to be in the cons themselves, understanding her motivations, her patterns, might help predict where she'd go next, or what kind of target she might choose. But getting inside her head.
Using psychology as an investigative tool. So the report ends with investigator Vanaparthy's perspective. What's his overall take?
He really highlights this disturbing mix of cold calculation and intense emotional manipulation.
He sees Janaki as intelligent.
Very. High intelligence, high emotional awareness, but abilities likely honed, the report suggests, by suspect A from a young age for criminal purposes.
And he's still puzzling over suspect A's role.
Yeah, there are lingering questions. Did suspect A fully grasp the damage he was enabling? Did he only see the moral implications when Janaki perhaps went further than he expected?
That quote, "She isn't me, she's worse," seems really central to his thinking.
It does. He sees it as a potential sign that even suspect A recognized a moral line had been crossed, a line he maybe hadn't intended for her to cross.
So it's not just tracking criminals, it's understanding this really dark dynamic.
Exactly. The investigation has practical steps finding but it also acknowledges this deep, troubling psychological layer, hoping that understanding it might be key to stopping them.
So that's our deep dive into case hashtag 2025 0607042. We've walked through the report, looking at the methods, the investigation's progress, hints of what might be driving Janaki and suspect A.
It's a sobering look at vulnerability and how trust can be weaponized. And this apparent shift in their partnership, with Janaki becoming more independent, more intense maybe, it leaves a lot of questions hanging. They're still out there.
Yeah. And as you think about this, consider how manipulation isn't always just about the money. Sometimes maybe it feeds something darker, a need for control or validation that grows beyond anyone's initial intentions.
And what happens when the apprentice doesn't just learn the trade, but maybe embraces a darker aspect of it than the teacher ever did? It's a chilling thought.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.